Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dumb and Dumbest podcast with my beautiful, glorious, radiant, well-muscled, large-nosed co-host. I don't actually think he has a large nose, Curtis Stewart, and who should say hello here but didn't. And
Hello.
we have a special guest all the way from Germany, Andreas, one of my colleagues at Prophecy.
Hi, folks.
And today we are talking about journalism because, Andreas, where do you write?
I write for Rock Out magazine Germany and Legacy magazine Germany and several websites at one point or another. And there's Mint as well. Mint is a magazine that specializes in vinyl, notwithstanding any genre. Yeah.
Cool. And so obviously I have a background in metal injection, as we've discussed, and Curtis wrote for a few blogs no one cares about back in the day.
Thanks, man. It's typical for people like us being in the music scene. You do everything and probably nothing of it the right way or the perfect way. It's just you're dabbling in it and get better increasingly without getting ever the expert in it or something.
Yeah. Well, I think because for you, Andreas, writing about music was sort of your gateway into
the business.
The business. Yeah. How did that happen?
Yeah, maybe right starting very early. I think for many people that start writing about music, they are more or less unsuccessful musicians themselves, and I would say I'm not an exception with respect to this.
Mm-hmm.
Being a musician, but never really had a success or a regular band. Also because I'm from an area where there's not much of a music scene in Germany. Anyway, you start writing, and you nowadays you are ashamed of what you wrote in the early days, but you got better and better, and whatever better means, but more professional or however you want to name it. And you just get even more involved, and you get to learn, to get to know the bands and musicians, artists, also on a more general, also on a more personal basis. Some of them, they become at least remote friends, and I think in general that's special for the metal scene as well, or the rock scene, that you have this more personal approach. I mean, it's not like you're going to have an audience with this big star and you're doing your interview and that's that. It's more casual thing, and maybe something with longevity develops out of it. Anyway, and one point leads to another. You get more and more contacts, and at the same time, you are following your passion in music, and you're collecting records, buying records, and you get in contact with, in my case, labels like Prophecy, and you have the slightly acquaintance with the head of the label, and one thing leads to another, and they need somebody doing a job, and you apply and you get the job, and then you're more or less one foot.
For the record, I initially met the head of Prophecy as a journalist as well. So if you want to work for Prophecy, writing about Prophecy, just saying.
At the moment, no applications are accepted.
No, but I think that really, if you do want to work in the music industry, I think you'd agree that writing about music is the greatest way to get access and to kind of open up.
100%. Definitely. I don't know how it is in the US or anywhere else, but in Germany we have throughout the last years there's this academic branch that has developed, like music business, stuff like that. I think you learn writing things, and getting into this from the writer's perspective is the best you can do, as opposed to this professional stuff. That's basically the people in suits afterwards that work for major labels and don't have a love for music, but are in the business.
Exactly. And I think it's also useful because you're basically starting off by doing favors for people.
Doesn't pay off. If you want to get rich, get elsewhere.
Because that's how that worked out for you, Curtis, right? Was you kind of became known by essentially writing reviews, essentially doing a favor. Would you agree?
Yeah, pretty much. I kind of did kind of similar to what you did, Matt, is that I started writing and I would write for basically anywhere I could. I mean, you started a blog obviously for yourself, but I wrote for anywhere that I could, and just basically bugged the shit out of people to let me review and interview them. And I just built up a pool of contacts that way, basically. And yeah, I mean, that was it, basically, just writing and then just writing for whoever and doing favors whenever I could. And if someone needed help with something, I'd do whatever I could to help them get in the publication, right?
Well, yeah, and I think one of the interesting things is how a lot of those contacts from writing end up paying off in the music industry. Have you experienced that, Andreas?
Yeah, of course. It's because also again a specialty for the rock or maybe underground music in general, that labels or the business people as opposed to the artists and the press, so media, the labels and the artists, it's closer together, I think, than in any other scene. It's
What's driven by passion?
Yeah, because one blends into the other. And there's even people, I mean, it's no secret that you have magazines, at least in Germany, where people are writing that at the same time are working for promotion agencies or even labels like me, for example.
Yeah,
it's always a tricky business. Like usually when you have the sound checks in the magazines, that's usually, of course, I'm exempt from rating prophecy stuff, but other than that, it's usually not a problem.
yeah.
And as long as you don't hide it, I mean, the most people know it. In the end, Germany is a small country, or Central Europe, relatively small in comparison to the US, and everybody more or less knows each other, and things are not really kept secretly or something. It's really transparent. There's no fraud involved, or like getting a profit or an advantage out of things for your relations. Stuff like that.
I'm a little disappointed you're not giving Prophecy Records 10 out of 10 reviews in Rock Hard.
Yeah, in all honesty, I state this here now for I don't know how many people, but there's stuff on Prophecy I don't like. It's
Absolutely.
totally but that makes working with it not less interesting, even on the contrary, maybe.
Yeah, I enjoy the challenge.
Challenge.
Of sometimes with Prophecy in particular, there's definitely stuff that's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
That definitely takes me a minute to like wrap my head around, I guess.
And you always learn, especially from stuff that's not usually your ballpark. Also stylistically, that's also a reason why I work or write for Mint, because they have own genres, and you happen to review stuff from the pop field, from the chart material, and you have to do your research, and really you learn from that.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the other value of journalism, is the amount of research you have to do. Like, I feel like Curtis, did you feel your knowledge of music kind of greatly grew just by being a journalist and having to write about it?
1000%, because you're always having to be on top of everything. And if you're not on top of everything, then you're not going to get, you don't get the opportunities that other people that are on top of everything do. So
yeah,
you gotta research. When you're a journalist, you probably have to do a lot more. You have to be a lot more on top of things than even like a publicist does. Because like for me, it doesn't really matter if I don't know what all the current releases are on other labels, but if I'm a journalist and I don't know whatever all the new stuff is, then I'm behind, because there's a whole bunch of other nerds out there that are on top of things, that are going to write about things more intelligently than me, right? And it's true.
Totally agree there. That's a good example would be me being at Rock Hard. They put me into this drawer to review a lot of the extreme metal stuff, because they had nobody else for some time. And I'm actually not really, or I have not been really an expert on this field, or really a passionate fan of a lot of extreme metal, be it black or death metal. I actually come from the more classical stuff and the progressive rock and progressive metal, and just grew into it. And that's where you benefit from it, and you expand your own horizon. And maybe that's to come back to the very beginning is satisfactory to the degree that you reconcile with your ambitions as an artist yourself, that you could never fulfill, or at least not so far. And it's all a learning thing. And I think in every job, or how you want to call it, if you don't learn it, and if you don't enjoy the learning process and the growing process, you should not do it. It's
I agree.
The funny thing or the interesting thing is the German word we have for the job, the work you do is relative to the thing, the passion you follow. That's these words are related to each other. So yeah, you can translate it, but it's so meaning your work is also your vocation. You have to be dedicated about it.
And just for the record, and tell me if this is too personal, but like, how long were you writing for before you started to get paid for writing?
All right.
For me, it was 4 years. Did you ever get paid for writing, Curtis?
You guys.
I actually did. And you know what? One of the sites that I wrote for, all paid except for one, believe it or not. I fluked out.
Oh, wow. Weird.
I completely fluked out. The places that I wrote for all paid. It was small amounts, but I managed to get the right connections and get in the right places somehow. But
well, weird. Because how long did it take you?
I have to say that there's some stuff I still do for free, just for the fun of it. But it took almost 10 years, if not even longer. But then again, I'm a bit older than you guys, I think, and today it's all faster and it's picked up. I mean, I'm from the late 90s when I started doing this, and nowadays it's a huge thing, not least because of the internet. And there's really some money to be made, even though it's not big business, but there's people needed, and if you do your job well, you can achieve something.
Yeah, but don't go into it expecting money.
No, you have to be in it first and foremost for the dedication, as pathetic as that always sounds. And
but at the same time, there are the opportunities out there, and you can find them. Like, I mean, they do exist at the same time.
Yeah, it's not like your mom says, "Oh, music, what can you don't make a living with it." Yeah. It's hard, maybe, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, all three of us live full time off this, but I mean, it's not
time in the truest sense of the word. Yeah, and you need different outlets. It's not sufficient to be a one-trick pony, so to say.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, is you need to kind of diversify everything that you're doing.
I've been at Prophecies for 7 years now, and it's still no full-time job, by the way. I'm doing this half-time.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
Actually, occupation-wise, I'm a literary translator. I make comment on this, so that's another wholly different thing. I translate books, and for a long time, I did my the main part of my money came from this, but this has changed by now.
But anyway, to head towards the end, do you have anything to promote right now, Andreas?
Nope.
Okay. Curtis?
Not even myself.
What do I have to promote? Oh man, you don't want to ask me what I want to promote today.
Okay, choose 3 things. Don't say 4 like you fucking did yesterday.
Promote this interesting angle of this corner you have.
Yeah, exactly.
How about, well, here's 3 things right now. So I'll talk about 2 of our mutual clients. Matt, we'll talk about Dead Register is streaming their entire new EP over at Subterranean this morning.
Awesome.
Rune Scarred has just released a cover of Iron Maiden's Moonchild, which you can go stream.
And it's excellent.
It is excellent. And then I believe there's something going on in New York this week with you two that you guys might want to talk about.
I think Prophecy Fest, November 2nd and 3rd. That's tomorrow for those of you listening to this on Thursday. So fucking get on it, buy a ticket, be there. If you show up and mention this podcast, I will buy you 3 beers.
You're not going to buy anybody 3 beers.
I'll buy anyone who mentions this podcast to me 3 beers. Okay, and I'll give them 3 beers. Correction. I might not buy them, but I will give them 3 beers.
What if they don't drink?
They can give them to their friends. I don't drink. When people buy me beer, I give them to my friends.
Yeah, but no one's offering to buy you a drink. That's why I was asking.
Sometimes people offer to buy me drinks, Curtis. Some people like me, unlike you.
I like you, but I just don't drink, so whatever.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. This has been another episode of Dumb and Dumbest. Bye.
Are we doing it?